She showed up at my beach cabin early one morning wearing her usual pastel blazer and an entitled smile, declaring that I needed to unlock the place for the annual HOA brunch, which she had apparently decided would be held at my property without my consent, and I stood there in disbelief, trying to process her audacity as she waved a clipboard in my face, rattling off names of neighbors and claiming it was tradition, even though I'd only owned the place for a year and had never agreed to host anything. She insisted it was my turn and said everyone was already expecting it, but I calmly told her I wouldn't be opening my home to a group of strangers for an event I never signed up for, and that's when her demeanor changed instantly. She started yelling about community, spirit, and obligations, and how I was ruining everything, and that I was selfish and ungrateful for the beautiful location I had somehow lucked into. She stomped away, muttering threats about fines and HOA violations. And I thought that would be the end of it, but just 2 hours later, she returned with half the brunch crowd trailing behind her, some carrying folding chairs, others holding platters of food, and she stood there demanding that I open the doors. Everyone watched. I repeated that my answer was no, and reminded her this was my private property and not a clubhouse. She lost it, screaming that I was disrespecting the entire neighborhood and that she would make sure the board took action against me. And I simply walked inside and locked the door while she banged on it a few more times before the crowd awkwardly dispersed later. I found a passive-aggressive note taped to my window about how disappointed the community was and how I had let them down. The next HOA meeting was predictably hostile, with the president trying to push a motion about shared use of beachfront homes, which thankfully didn't pass because several other members quietly admitted they thought she had gone too far. I've kept my cabin peaceful ever since, and the president hasn't spoken to me directly again, though. Still catch her giving me dirty looks whenever I drive past the clubhouse, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.